Hello, I'm Darren Magee, and today's topic is looking at imposter syndrome. Now, if you like this video, if you find it helpful, please click like and please consider subscribing to my channel. But just as a reminder, this video is not a substitute for support from a mental health professional, nor is it a tool to be used to diagnose someone. So first of all, a syndrome is not a diagnosis. A syndrome is the term given when a number of people think, feel, experience the same kind of thing. And imposter syndrome is the term given when people feel as if they're not enough, feel as if they don't deserve, feel as if they're inadequate, they don't deserve a level of happiness or success. It can be feelings of self-doubt, it can be chronic feelings of self-doubt, assuming that sooner or later someone is going to catch you out as a fraud. And it's amazing the number of people who experience this, very famous, very successful people. Long before there was a name for it, Albert Einstein would have experienced what we would today call imposter syndrome. He described himself as an involuntary swindler. He did not believe that his work merited much attention. And there are different situations which can trigger this, such as being in the classroom, starting a new job, getting a promotion. It could be triggered in relationships. There are different levels of intensity, and from just say a lack of confidence, a little bit of self-doubt, to chronic self-doubt, constantly second guessing. And some of the beliefs that lie behind it could be things like, I just got lucky. It had nothing to do with the work I put in, nothing to do with my skill set or my ability. I don't deserve success. I don't deserve happiness. Sooner or later, others are going to see that I don't deserve it either. I'm not as good at this as people think. I don't know as much about this as people think that I do. There can also be playing down any kind of success or any kind of achievement. It was nothing. Anyone could have done that. I'm just lucky they didn't see what I did wrong. Now, we can have a healthy level of humility, not necessarily want to come across as arrogant or haughty, but with imposter syndrome, I think there is a difficulty in being able to accept or internalize any of our strengths, any of our abilities, any of our achievements, even difficulty sometimes in acknowledging that perhaps we enjoy something or we're good at it. And this can lead to deflecting praise, deflecting compliments. Someone says that looks good on you and it's, well, I bought it in the sale, I've had it for ages. Well done, you got the job. Yeah, but just wait till I find out. I don't really know what I'm talking about. I don't know what to do. And on the excuses go to deflect the praise. Now, some of the symptoms associated with imposter syndrome can include a heightened anxiety, an anxiety around being seen to be maybe happy or confident. There could be the fear of failing at something as much as the fear of succeeding at something. There can be constant rumination, not just over a past event or what may happen, but the fear of other people's envy, their scorn, their ridicule if there's any kind of success. And it can also lead to procrastination, which inevitably has someone feeling worse in the long run. There can also be depression. Someone may perhaps feel guilt over having overcome something or achieved something if others haven't. Perhaps believing that they've no right to feel good if others don't. So where does it come from? Well, there are any number of areas that it could come from. It could be perhaps part of a personality trait such as perfectionism or constantly seeking validation from others. It can also come from the messages we've heard from significant others as we were growing up, or perhaps a current situation that we're in. An example that comes to mind would be a place I used to work in many years ago. Now, there was a manager there who, I have no idea why he was a manager, but he was a manager, and there was a member of staff there who used to delete emails from customers. When he would get an email saying, good job, well done, we really appreciate that, he would delete them because the manager would give him a hard time. Now, it's these messages that we get from others, just like the one I've just mentioned, that can have someone doubt their own sense of worth, their own sense of contribution, their own sense of ability. In relationships, someone may feel that they don't deserve the other person, and they could be constantly second guessing themselves. Is this enough? Whatever it is they're working on, whatever it is they're doing, whatever it is they're offering, it is doomed to fail. It's not going to be enough. The irony is, it's not uncommon. When somebody does do something and it does work, it does succeed, others benefit, everybody's happy, Someone with imposter syndrome, it's not uncommon for them to actually give the credit to other people. And just like the situation I've just mentioned in the workplace, how I handled that manager was anytime I did something, anytime I got any kind of praise from a customer or whatever, I would have said, someone else showed me how to do that, or someone else took the lead on that. Because sometimes imposter syndrome comes from being in an environment where others have just such low self-esteem rather. All they want to do is tear apart other people's happiness. They only feel good about themselves if they're feeling better than others. Now, other contributing factors could be things like, say, having some sense of privilege, perhaps having a good education, or finding certain subjects easy while others are struggling, feeling it's unfair to be in a better situation or be more accomplished than others. Another area that imposter syndrome can come from could be constantly having been acknowledged for success and being referred to as the talented one, the smart one, the one that has all the answers, the favorite one. So there are a lot of expectations to live up to. And sometimes when someone is given those titles, those roles as the smart one or whatever, they find themselves being put into, or putting themselves into, the role of hero, always having to save the day, always having to find a solution, always having to make sure everybody else is okay, but struggling with the reality that they don't always have the answers. They don't always know the outcome from the beginning. Not every problem is theirs to solve. The extreme opposite being criticized that no matter what, there will always be fault found. Any achievement, 99 out of 100, and being criticized for that one wrong answer. Now, the thing I've noticed, and this is just personally, I'm sure there's many different examples, but what I've noticed about imposter syndrome is that it only seems to affect those who aspire, those who are talented, those who are sensitive, those who work hard, those who achieve. The curious thing is, it does not seem to affect people who are generally envious, people who just want to sit on their backside, shake their fist and hate the world. So if there's anything you recognize in what I've been talking about with imposter syndrome, I'm going to invite you to think about a couple of things. First of all, don't believe everything you think. Also, don't believe everything everybody else thinks either. Secondly, those that tell you that you can't, those that tell you that you shouldn't, more often than not, those same people are the people that fear that you can and that you will. And lastly, the next time you're telling yourself you just got lucky, well, pay a bit of attention, have an honest conversation with yourself, because even if there was luck involved, you still had to play your part. You still had to at least turn up. Even if there was luck involved, you still had to have some part to play in it. And this is the thing about luck. Do you ever notice the harder you work, the luckier you get? So that's a brief outline of imposter syndrome. Now, if there's anything you'd like to add, by all means, please use the comment box below. There have been some interesting conversations starting around these videos. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel for future updates on mental health related topics. And until next time, thanks for watching.